The story of Bernie Madoff isn't just about money, it's about one of the biggest betrayals in financial history. Once a respected figure on Wall Street, Madoff secretly ran a massive Ponzi scheme, fooling investors, celebrities, and even charities for decades. Billions of dollars vanished. Lives were destroyed, and trust in the system was shaken to its core. But how did one man deceive the entire world for so long? And why didn't anyone see it coming? Today we will talk about the shocking story of Bernie Madoff, the man who scammed the world. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. 1. The rise of Bernie Madoff. From humble beginnings to Wall Street elite, born in 1938 in Queens, New York, Bernie Madoff grew up in a modest, working-class Jewish family. His early life showed little indication of the financial devastation he would later unleash. Madoff attended Hofstra University and briefly studied law before diving headfirst into the world of finance. In 1960, with just $5,000, reportedly earned from lifeguarding and sprinkler installations, he founded Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities, LLC. What began as a small trading firm quickly evolved into one of the most respected and influential market-making businesses on Wall Street. Madoff's early success was tied to his willingness to embrace emerging technologies. He played a pivotal role in the development of electronic trading systems, helping modernize how stocks were bought and sold. His firm became one of the largest market makers in the U.S., handling a significant portion of trades on the NASDAQ. This innovation earned him credibility, respect, and eventually power. He even served as chairman of NASDAQ, a position that solidified his reputation as a visionary in finance. To the outside world, Madoff was not just successful, he was a pioneer. 2. The illusion of consistency. How the scheme began. Behind the polished image, however, something far more sinister was taking shape. While Madoff's legitimate trading business thrived, a separate division of his firm quietly began managing private investment accounts. It was here that the seeds of what would become the largest Ponzi scheme in history were planted. Madoff promised investors something irresistible: steady, consistent returns regardless of market conditions. While most funds fluctuated with economic cycles, Madoff claimed to generate positive returns even during downturns. This consistency, rather than raising suspicion, attracted more clients. Wealthy individuals, charities, pension funds, and even banks were drawn to the apparent stability of his strategy. In reality, there was no sophisticated trading strategy. Instead, Madoff was using money from new investors to pay returns to earlier ones, a classic Ponzi scheme. The illusion was maintained through falsified account statements and carefully crafted reports. As long as new money kept flowing in, the scheme remained hidden. What made Madoff different was the scale and sophistication with which he executed this deception. 3. Building trust among the elite. One of the most disturbing aspects of Madoff's scheme was how deeply he embedded himself within elite financial and social circles. His clients included celebrities, hedge fund managers, major financial institutions, and philanthropic organizations. Trust was his most valuable asset, and he cultivated it meticulously. Madoff often created an aura of exclusivity, making it seem as though investing with him was a privilege rather than an opportunity. Some investors reported feeling lucky to be accepted. This psychological manipulation increased demand and reduced skepticism. Additionally, many of his clients were referred by trusted friends or family members, creating a network of implicit credibility. Jewish charitable organizations were particularly hard hit, as Madoff leveraged shared cultural and social connections to gain trust. The emotional damage caused by this betrayal was immense, extending far beyond financial loss. Investors weren't just losing money, they were losing faith in relationships, institutions, and their own judgment. 4. Red flags ignored, warnings that went unheard. Despite the magnitude of the fraud, there were warning signs, clear, glaring red flags that were either ignored or inadequately investigated. Financial analyst Harry Markopolos famously attempted to expose Madoff's scheme years before it collapsed. He submitted detailed reports to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, outlining mathematical impossibilities in Madoff's returns. Markopoulos argued that Madoff's strategy could not realistically produce the consistent profits he claimed. However, the SEC failed to act decisively. Investigations were superficial, and Madoff's reputation often shielded him from deeper scrutiny. This regulatory failure remains one of the most criticized aspects of the scandal. Other warning signs included the secrecy surrounding Madoff's operations, the lack of an independent auditor, and unusually smooth performance reports. Yet these concerns were often dismissed or overlooked, especially during a period when financial markets were booming and trust in established figures was high. 5. The collapse. During the 2008 financial crisis, the scheme began to unravel during the global financial crisis of 2008. As markets collapsed, investors rushed to withdraw their funds. Madoff, who had been using new investments to pay old ones, suddenly faced a liquidity crisis. There was no real money to return, only fabricated numbers on paper. By December 2008, the pressure had become unbearable. Madoff confessed to his sons that his investment business was one big lie. They reported him to authorities, and he was arrested shortly thereafter. The world was stunned. What had appeared to be a stable, trusted investment empire was revealed to be an elaborate fraud, totaling approximately $65 billion in reported account values, with actual losses estimated around $17.20 billion. The scale of the deception was unprecedented. It wasn't just the size, it was the duration. Madoff had managed to sustain the scheme for decades, deceiving regulators, investors, and even his own employees. 6. The aftermath, victims, and devastation. The human cost of Madoff's fraud was catastrophic. Thousands of individuals and organizations lost their life savings. Retirees were forced back into the workforce. Charities shut down. Families were torn apart. The ripple effects extended across continents, affecting investors in Europe, Asia, and beyond. Some victims suffered not only financial ruin, but also emotional and psychological trauma. Tragically, several individuals connected to the scandal died by suicide. Among them was Madoff's own son, Mark Madoff, whose death underscored the personal toll of the scandal. Efforts were made to recover lost funds through legal action and asset liquidation. Trustee Irving Picard led the recovery process, successfully reclaiming billions of dollars over time. However, for many victims, the losses could never be fully restored. The damage was too deep, too personal. 7. Justice and sentencing. In 2009, Bernie Madoff pleaded guilty to 11 federal felony charges, including securities fraud, wire fraud, and perjury. He was sentenced to 150 years in prison, the maximum allowed, effectively ensuring he would spend the rest of his life behind bars. During his sentencing, Madoff expressed remorse, but many victims found his apology hollow. The sheer scale of his deception made forgiveness difficult, if not impossible. His case became a symbol of unchecked greed and systemic failure within the financial industry. Madoff was incarcerated at a federal prison in North Carolina, where he remained until his death in 2021. Even in prison, debates continued about his motives, his psychology, and whether he had accomplices who were never fully exposed. In the end, the Madoff scandal remains one of the most shocking examples of financial fraud in history, a stark warning that in the world of money, appearances can be dangerously deceptive. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.